Cracking, mi gente, this your boy D coming once again to drop off a little knowledge in this video and to share my life experience. That's what this channel is all about. To share with you guys what I've been through, what I did, and basically a little bit of my gang life and all the obstacles we face when we come home. Today, as you guys see on the thumbnail, is basically going to be talking about my first day in prison and the first stabbing that I witnessed in the penitentiary system, which, as you guys know, is way different in the street. The violence is all different. And before I get any further, people and gentlemen and lady, I will apologize beforehand then if I get stuck, I get a little nervous with these videos. I apologize. They expensive to everybody up there. The reason why I'm saying this because I'm trying to get used to getting in front of these cameras, record as much content as I can for you guys to provide you my point of view on situation and my life experience, what I went through, and everything that I did and done in the penitentiary system. I will not sugarcoat anything. If I was in the wrong, I would admit. If I did some bad things, I will admit. And the purpose of all of this is not to glorify violence. The purpose of all of these videos is to basically, down the road, I can help somebody not make the choices and decisions that I make, not make the decision that led me to 15 years of my life being behind walls and having somebody telling me what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And hopefully I can save at least one life of our youngsters, our young generation coming up, and I can pinpoint and tell it gang life is not what it is. As you guys see on the thumbnail and the uña, like I said before, I'll be talking about the transition that I went through from county jail to the prison system, from reception to my first 4-level yard, Pinta. So as you guys see and know, hit that subscribe button, hit the likes, leave a comment, and let's get it. So as it happened, everybody, when you get sentenced, you wait a little bit of time, probably a couple weeks. It depends on what county you are, and then you get transferred to the reception center where you're gonna be basically going through a screening process for the CDCR. So I got sentenced from San Francisco County Jail to a life sentence, 37 years to life. That was my sentence. Basically, you hear when you're in the tiers or when you're in the little cells with your homies that have experience in the penitentiary system. At least I have some homies that have been there before. They'll tell you, hey, when you get there, this is how you're supposed to conduct yourself. This is how you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. But they never tell you that things can change on a heartbeat. The things might not seem what they look like. So I learned that the hard way. So basically one night they came, so-and-so, get ready, you're catching the bus. So I got ready, I put my little stuff in the little bag. They give you a little bag. Our county does not allow you to take hajin or chanclas or slipperies. They only allow you to take your letters, your envelopes, your stamps, and some pictures, not all of them. If you have store canteen, basically that's being left behind to the homies, to your loved one, to whatever you're dealing with at that time or affiliate with. So as they came and shackled us up, you gotta remember they put the black box shackles. The black box basically is they put a handcuffs going your right hand going left and your left going right on an awkward manner where you cannot move or get situated. Luckily for me, I didn't get the black box because I hated that thing. I got the chain shackles, basically that your hands are to your size on your waist. So we get escorted down to the bus, and I hear this comment from this Jura, from the sheriff department guy that's gonna be driving us. At that moment, I didn't know why, but it stuck with me. He said, "Laugh now, we will see when we pull up to the gate, see who's laughing." So it stuck with me. I didn't know why he had said that. He had been in a job for 25, 27 years. I knew him, I had some dealings with the man, and the facts that, you know, when you're a convict, when you're in jail, you build some type of respect between you and the Jura. Of course, if the lines get crossed, you do what you're supposed to do, but there's always the line based on respect. You're going to hear me talk about respect a lot in my journey because that's something that has a lot to do with prison system, jails, and everything else that has to deal with it, either regarding all the razas, all the races, yourself amongst yourself, your car, or the cars, or even the police. So when he said that, I looked at my homeboy, my co-defender, who was going with me in the bus, and I was like, "You heard that?" He's like, "Yeah, fool, just ignore it." So lucky for us, we get to sit next to each other. So me and him are chopping it up. It was about 10 of us in the bus. I think it was about 6 blacks, 2 northerners, us, and a white and a paisa. So it's about 10 or 12 of us, I believe. So as we get to the bus, everybody, being loud, talking, singing with the radio, doing their thing. Everybody's just doing theirs. But I can tell you one thing, and people that been on those chains, basically the chain that we catch to prison, the right bus, you're thinking about everything. Everything's going through your head. What can happen, what will happen, how I'm supposed to conduct myself, what can it transpire. So you start getting all these thoughts. Myself, I was thinking about how to survive. That don't make me less than a man, but I was thinking, what can I do to survive the next 30-some years in prison? If I get lucky, I get parole, but how to survive, how to make it, and not put myself in a predicament where I have to hurt somebody or I'll be hurt. But as a Southerners, as Sureños, or whatever you want to call it, Southern United Raza, there's expectations, there's the standards that are expected of us. We're supposed to conduct ourselves. So are Northerners. Northerners got a standard that supposed to conduct themselves a certain manner, a certain way. So all of us are on our head. At least while we were passing the bridge, me and my homeboy looked at each other, and me and him got quiet. We just started trying to figure out. We were in our heads, basically. We were thinking about what the next move was going to be. I know the route I wanted to take, and I knew for a fact the route he wanted to take. See, between the two of us, I was the mellow-headed. I was the calm. I won't punch you unless I have to. I won't hurt you unless I have to. Him, on the other hand, he was the crazy fucker. He was the crazy guy. He will get off whenever he and ask for forgiveness later. He will get off. He will punch you just because he didn't like the way you looked at him. But see, penitentiary system was a little different. You cannot just go around punching people and there will be consequences. So we sit there about 15-20 minutes quiet. And throughout this whole 15-20 minutes, I didn't realize it that we were pulling up the gates of San Quentin. That's our reception center, San Quentin. As we're pulling up to the gate, the whole bus just got quiet. I mean, literally quiet. At that moment, I realized why the Huda has said what he has said. And I was trying to figure out what he meant by that. So the whole bus get quiet. They tell us, okay, they're gonna call you guys by name. You come to the front of the bus. You give us your name, your SF number, or your basically jail number, and then you go up to the CDC officers waiting for you down there. You get on shackles, and then you go from point A to point B. So they call in everybody. They call my name. I go to the front of the bus. I give my number to the sheriff department guy for our county. Then I jump down the bus, and we're in front of the CDC officer. So they tell you, this is what we're going to do. Give me your name, who you're affiliated with, and go from there. So they ask you for your day of birth, your name, your affiliation. Mind you, I'm from the MS 13, so I'm thinking in my head, that's what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, homies told me, hey, when you go out there, you telling you're a Southern Mexican, or if you're a Northern, you were a Northern Mexican. See, my head was still in bowl of this is my barrio, is my hood, so I went down there. I'm like, I'm a Marasa Patrucha member. He said, you run with the Southerners. He said, I'm from Estrella. He's like, so you run with the Southerners. So you a Southern Mexican. I was like, I'm a Southern Salvadorian. He goes, look, kid, I don't care where you were born, what ethnicity you're from. You were wrong with the Sureño, so you're a Southern Mexican. That's all you're going to be identified. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So they pull us in. They take off our shackles, put our hands on. And then they send you inside to the R&R. In there, there's another police officer there that make you take off your jumpsuit. It's a paper thin suit with a bunch of holes. Everything gets through it, and you have only your boxers, in our case, with drawers. So you walk in there, they tell you squat and cough, spray your cheeks, and all the good stuff that they do. And then they tell you go to tank whatever they assign you, right? So they assign us to tank right in front of it, tank 4, I believe. So as we get assigned there, it's just me and my homeboy for a good period of time. They take our pictures and start doing the thing. So we got there around 9 a.m. And just so you guys have an idea how slow and messed up this whole process is, we got there at 9 a.m. in the morning. We didn't get to our assigned cells in Badger section until almost 9 o'clock, nighttime, p.m. Throughout the whole process, they taking our picture, they're taking us to medical, they're taking us to this, they're taking your property, and they just slow dragging it. They're not really trying to do nothing fast. We could have been up there by lunchtime, probably 1 or 2, even after shift change. But they don't give a damn. They're just trying to process you the slowest as they can, because during the day they have so much movement going on. They don't want to cross a path with the people going in and out of Badger section. So what they do is basically they keep you down there. So we get down there, and throughout the whole process, like around 5:30, we hear another buzz, and then we hear the hoorah say, LA County bus is coming. Mind you, I'm surprised, my homeboy's surprised, because due to our knowledge, or due to what we have got information from, LA buses go to Wasco or to other receptions. They don't come to San Quentin. I had never heard of LA buses coming to San Quentin. But due to whatever was going on in Wasco and Tracy, the other receptions where their homies go to, they were being transferred to San Quentin and getting the reception there. Which, before they even arrived, me and my homeboy looked at each other and we said it at the same time, this is a bad idea. And you will get the details on the way why I said this is a bad idea. LA homies run different, so you gotta understand that their homies run different. We're not liked by them much. Just put it in our perspective. I'm not saying that to disrespect the homies. I'm not saying that any fashion or form or minimizing them or nothing. But the Sureños from up north, we're not really like. So they pull up. A couple homies pull up. There was a few older homies. Lento from, I believe it was from Fontana. The homie Joker from Eastside LA, and there was a couple homies there, and there was one older homie that I kind of liked. He was from Puente. He was cool dude, but he was a loud dude. He would really talk really loud. So, well, we got assigned, and we get sent to Badger section. At that time, that was our reception. So the way the Badger section was set up basically was the first tier were Northerners and blacks and basically other factions that were down there, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth tier were nothing but Southerners that were in reception. But at that moment, I didn't know that they have been homies from LA coming there, and they had set up in the fifth tier, so they had the whole fifth tier basically locked in as just homies from down south LA, and everything else was homies from Fremont, Oakland, San Mateo County, Hayward, and all of that stuff, right? So they tell me my cell, they say you going to 415. My homeboy got assigned to the second tier, 257 or something like that. 250 or 249, excuse me. They only go to 50 cells. So as we get there, I will go up to my cell and I see this white man in front of my cell. Mind you, I'm confused because in the county we could sell out with whites and paisas and homies, but in the prison system, for what I've been told, we sell up with our own. So as I walk in there, I look at this dude. This dude doesn't say nothing to me, and then I hear my name getting called on the tier. Hey homie, you on the tier? Come down. So I go down, walk to 410, and there's somebody I knew from the street, one of the homies from San Mateo County. His name was Travieso. He was in a cell with another homie named Marijuana from San Mateo County. So they give me the little rundown. Travieso, like, don't trip, I got you. That's a good homie you with. And I asked him, who's that white man? And he said, homie, dog. So I walked in there. Man, as soon as I walked in there, Marceli solo in the back of the cell, ready, because I don't know if he thought that I was coming in there with a bad intention, or he thought because I seen him looking white that I was just gonna take off and ask questions later. So I walked in there. He told me his name is Smokey from SSR, Eureka County. That's what he says. Humboldt County, excuse me. Basically down Eureka. I didn't know we had homies down there. I mean, Humboldt County and Eureka County, those counties are nothing but white people down there. And Indians. At least to my knowledge. So we chop it up. We exchange paperwork. I shoot my paperwork out. The homies like they're gonna, do what they have to do. And then your paperwork comes back. So as I'm there, basically, they clear me up a couple days later. Tell me everything is good. They shoot me a little, basically, what we call a bag, like a little small care package. And then we go from there. We go to chow in the mornings. They release us by tiers and so forth and so forth. Now, to the point where I'm witness my first stabbing was a week later after us going to chow, going to yard, witnessing these things. The homie Travieso approached me. He goes, hey, tomorrow in the morning when we coming back from breakfast, try to lag it a little bit or either try to fast track it. The whites are going to take care of something. See, the homie was in a cell with somebody that had a position there. I didn't know that the person that had the whole house there was somebody I knew from the streets. I haven't seen him. And even if I would have seen him when I did see him, I didn't recognize it because it had been a long time. So I tell him gracias. So out of curiosity, Marceli comes the same night and tells me, hey, I don't know if you know, but the white down the you gotta understand, he was a white dude from Humboldt County, and at that time there was a lot of white Peckerwoods, skinheads that were from Humboldt County. The dude that had the house for the program for the whites was from his area, which was a friend of Marceli. One of the shooters was a friend with Marceli. The victim was a friend of Marceli. So the shooter tells them, hey, try to stay away from this area when we're coming back from chow. Our people's gonna take care of something. So Maño, people get confused. Marceli was a chubby white man. Even though he had 3 dots on his left eye, there was a lot of white boys that had 13 because of the M, which was basically for marijuana. There was an OG, some incident happened between him behind that number. There was a little friction there, but you guys gotta understand that it was a white dude. He looked white. His Spanish was bad. So when he would talk Spanish, he sounded like he was talking for a white man. So chow comes to the morning, and you gotta understand, San Quentin, they release you by half of tier. Basically 104 if you're in the first tier. From basically, I'm gonna speak about my tier. So from 401 to 425, that's half of the tier. From 426 to 450, that's the other half of the tier. The back tier, what we call the back tier, gets released first, then the front tier gets released second. The victim was on 427. The aggressors were on 418 and 420. So they had to somehow catch up to this dude in order for them to do their business. I was on 415. There were a couple cells down from us. And there was some fights with them between blacks and whatnot. So, Maño, I seen there have been a couple fights happen in San Quentin, which I've seen. I've seen the Big Bertha, the gun, the shoot, the rubber bullets, and all of that stuff. Things happen in prison every day. You guys gotta understand that. But the reason why this stuck with me was because the person that got victimized was a 19-year-old kid. I wasn't that much older myself when I went into the prison system. So it kind of hit me a little bit different. And that was also my first stabbing in prison that I had witnessed, that I will be witnessing. So we coming back from chow. I feel somebody to my right side coming a little walking too fast. So I look back and I see this white dude that's gonna be the shooter. He put his hand on his waistband and moved it a little bit. And then the next thing you know, I saw a burner on him, basically a banger, a piece, a strap or knife, what you guys wanna call it. And it was made out of one of those typewriters metal rods. The people that been in prison will understand what I'm talking about. Those metal rods are big. They can be cut in half and made two, and they have a decent size. The problem with those, the bone crushers as we call them, is that if you get hit with one of those, sometimes in 9 times out of 10 your wound close quick and you start bleeding from the inside internally. And that's why a lot of people use them, because they're mortal. They're dangerous. The other kid had a piece of lacquer that got being sharpened to the edge. I saw both knives because one came to my right, the other one literally walked right in the middle of us, and the victim was ahead of them. So on your way back from Chow in San Quentin at that time, at least, they always had a jura, a police officer, on the entrance of the tier to close the front of the tier, and they always have a jura at the end of the tier because he was closing the back tier. They would close the back tier, the jura would come in telling everybody lock it in, while the front jura that's in the front of the entrance closed the front tiers. So the jura is telling everybody hurry up. Marcelli, for some reason, I don't know what got into him, decided to walk fast. I'm with my homeboy Travieso and I'm walking with him, and Travieso's like, what the fuck is Joselli doing? So I looked, I was like, oh man, and I start calling his name, Smokey. This man does not hear me. So me and Travi hurry up a little bit, and I barely catch him just one day, about to hit the corner of the 4th tier. So I catch him and I grab his thing. I was like, hey fool, kick back. So I got him pulling back. The jura didn't saw it. The 2 shooters walk all in front of us. The kid happened to be standing right by 409. Between 409 and 410, talking to one of the skinheads. They were doing some type of business about the jellies because somebody wanted to do Bruno, drink, wine, whatever you guys want to call it. When I tell you guys that I seen what was about to transpire, but I didn't thought it was going to be that bad, I literally stopped on my tracks. This dude pulled out the pistol and hit him right on the neck. The kid falls back, and just like any human being, his first reaction is to grab his neck. That's just human instinct, to grab whatever you feel pain or whatever you feel like you've been punched. You grab the side or you grab that part, because that's just human instinct. Some of us have a different instinct to fight or to look where the blow came from. He grabbed his neck. When he grabbed his neck, the other shooter, I believe, have a little bit more experience, because the first shooter was a little bit older guy. The second one, it looked like a little, maybe it was not his first turn. Actually, both of them were not the first turn, but it looked like the first shooter had done a quiet stretch, probably 10 years. The other one had done like a cool little bit, 2 years, 3 years, but he had a little bit of experience doing these pegadas, doing these removals. So when the dude went to grab his neck, the other dude hit him right by the lungs, and they start going to town. When the kid realized what was going on, he tried to fight. But see, the way they had set up the pegada was, I guess, when the commotion started, sometimes people just move out the way. Just you don't want to be part of that, because when the gun or the spray start going, you don't want to be nowhere near that. But the whites actually had set it up to the point where even paisas came out to the tier, and they were blocking the view of the front officer and the back officer. Who saw the action and what was transpired was the tier cup. Basically, the gunner, there's on the other side of the tier. They have a little rail do the walk. But it was the 5th tier gunner that saw what was transpiring. He called it in. The 4th tier gunner was basically being busy in the back on the 4th tier, trying to tell everybody to go in because that's what they do. They move with the officer move. He calls it in and instantly start yelling, "Get down, get down, get down," and then fires the Bertha. That thing is so loud, and those rubber bullets are so heavy when they hit you. Believe me, they hurt. I've been hit with those many times and they hurt. He fired 3 of them. The 4th-tier cop keeps running and they tell us to get down. So I got down right by the entrance of the door because that's where I got stuck basically. There's a homie in 402, so I try to slither a little bit to his cell to try to not get caught. The Huda told me don't move, want to cuff you, so I just stayed down. It's not my business, it's not our business. I'm not finna get caught on this situation. When I tell you they were going to town, this kid, they were demolishing. I mean, these 2 dudes were hitting him left and right. And then the older dude brought him down, grabbed by his legs, and dipped him. When they had this kid on the ground, they were doing motions from coming so high from above their head, going right to his chest. They were puncturing his kids. I mean, there was so much blood just squirted out, being there. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, what could have been so bad that this kid deserved to get this type of treatment? At that moment, the only way I can think is he had it to be a chomo. He had it to be a child molester. He had it to be a rapist or something for her to deserve this treatment. Because these 2 dudes were going to town him. They were stabbing the left and right. When they finally, one of them dude got hit in the, like in the shoulder with that rubber bullet, and the other dude got sprayed. The dude still even moved a little bit to the side, gave a paisa his piece. The paisa flushed, and then he got down. I mean, when they cuffed him, all I could see was this kid in the ground bleeding from, I mean, his blue shirt was covered in blood. It was red. The ground where he was laying in was so gruesome. Blood was sipping down to the tears, and this kid was just shaking like he was having a seizure or something. And I'm sitting there and looking at my homie Travi, and I'm thinking to myself, what could be so bad, man? See, I understand the violence is a necessary tool in prison, sometimes to keep order or sometimes because things don't get out of hand. And when I say a necessary tool, that don't mean I'm glorifying half of the things that are happening right now in the prison system, because I'm reading articles and I'm seeing things and kids getting removed and kids getting killed over basically a backhaul, political gain, and all that stuff. Sometimes is a necessary tool so other people around you doesn't get hurt. And I understood that down the road after I became into positions. But at that moment, I was a kid myself. First termer in prison. And I'm looking at this kid dying there. The nurses they're running up the stairs. The Judas not doing nothing. And I'm just like thinking about his mom. Maybe he had a sister. Maybe he had a kid. So all these thoughts are running through my head. And when I'm sharing this with you guys, some people gonna have a comment like, you were weak, you didn't have the stomach for it. Maybe that's why you dropped out. Maybe that's why you became whatever. They might have said so many things. But that's not what it was. It just, at that moment, you became aware of your surroundings and you start thinking, is this what my life look like? Unfortunately, the kid passed away. Down the road, I find out the reason why he got removed was because he got caught a case with the dude that was in charge of the whites. His name was Danny from Humboldt County. And he was tweaked out. He was on crystal meth when they caught him. And he made a comment to the police. They were caught up for a robbery and attempted murder, I think. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on it. But I knew it was a robbery. But the kid made the comment about, that's not my gun, it doesn't belong to me. And the whites had took it like he had snitched on the other kid. If you looked at it from the point of view or perspective of a convict or a gangster, criminal, or gang member, yeah, you might look at it that way. The kid never testified. He never got an understand or nothing. He just said it that comment to the police, and they put it like he had got in an interview and said that it was never true. The kid said that to the police when they would put him on the cruiser, I guess. Oh, that's not my gun. But that comment right there cost him his life, because the political system, the system that we so adored, the political movement that we so arranged, hold on to it, the political people that we glorify, deem him as a rat. Because he wasn't on his 5 cents. He was high out of his mind, and he made a comment. He deserved to die. That's how prison looked at it. And half of the time when I have witnesses, kids get stabbed, it angers me, because when I find out the reason why, I know homies that got stabbed so bad over $50 debt or dope. And at that time, even then I used to ask myself, and even then I used to question some people, be like, is $50 worth that homie's life? That camarada had 15, 17 years in the system doing good, solid homie, and you killed him over $50 just because you didn't like him. That's what this penitentiary system turned us into. It turned us into this type of monster that we start becoming. You might not have been bad when you went into prison, but by the time you got out, you're a whole different person. It's not rehabilitation. Because even if you cross to the other side, to the SNY, they're still teaching you how to be violent, because you gotta survive every single day if you don't belong to an SDG group, or if you don't belong to certain gangs. You're still gonna get victimized. You're still gonna get pushed on. That's just facts. I don't glorify this thing. And when I did interview with the person that I did my interview with, I told him I can't follow something I don't respect. I lost respect for the movement for the simple facts that we were promised a change when the legends, when the senores, when the pilis touched the yards. It was going to be different. It was going to be better. That's what we were told. But look at the statistics, look at the interviews, look at the articles, look at the news. It haven't got better. People still getting killed. This end to hostility haven't played nothing but anger people. The role that it played was basically they got rich. And we got left to what? Nothing. Is there even a youngster out there that's listening to or seeing this video, or somebody seeing this video and your family members young and lost is gaming, and please tell them this. That life is not worth it. I became a gang member when I was 13 years old. And I spent almost 15 years of my life incarcerated. And guess what? When I came home, that block that I fought so much for, that neighborhood, that barrio, is still there. That piece of concrete is still there. It haven't gone nowhere. But I lost good friends through that battle, Norte and Sur, through that guerra. I lost so many people that I was so close with. And I will tell the story when my homeboy died on my arms. And his last word, take care of my kids, bro. Please take care of my kids. He wasn't thinking about himself at that time. He was thinking about his kid. So I tell you youngsters, I tell you older fools out there, brainwashing these kids. Teach them how to go to school. Teach them how to get a job, how to get a resume. Help them build something better than just a life sentence, just to become another number to the system. That's why our generation is dying. Our youngsters are dying over what? Colors, numbers? But when you go into the prison system, the people you were out here biffing with in the streets, you will have to become friends with in prison. And if you don't obey by those guidance, guess what? You will be dealt with severely. That on him policy now, they ain't implementing that so bad. What is like, we're not DPing homies no more. If they're violated, boom, whack him, hit him. Get him off the yard. He's no good to us. He's basura. He don't deserve to be in the yard. That's what we become to them. Just another soldado or another piece of paper or another number to them. Just another fraction of a human being to be used. Our oppressors are becoming our own big homies, our own loved ones. It's time to wake up, man. It's time to wake up and see what's really in front of us. My experience that night scarred me. When I witnessed that kid getting killed, it got to me to the point where I told myself I would never be victimized. I would never put myself in that predicament where I will have to wait knowing that something can get to me. I will get off first, questions and sorries later. And that caused me so much troubles because I lived my life like an animal in those cages. I lived every single day like it was my last day. Whenever I would talk to my loved ones through the phone or anything that I would get a hold of, whenever I would see them, I would try to have as much fun as I can because I didn't know if the next day coming to I was gonna get killed or I was gonna get murdered either on a riot or on a bad call, or just because I didn't like something and I made a comment to somebody and that comment got to the powers to be. I hope you guys can understand. I hope you guys can follow and understand that I'm not doing this for the publicity or because I'm against all of these things that people said in the comments. I was like, Lens Mexicans. I'm not against nothing. I'm against oppressors and violence. There has to be enough. We have to say enough sometimes. To me, that's enough. And if you want to sit there and call me a dropout or a rat or a snitch because I'm sitting behind the camera and telling you guys the story of what I built, I came home still pushing. I just decided to push for my family, my loved ones. When they ask me, you're active. Define active. Somebody said that in a YouTube video or in a TikTok video. I don't remember where I seen it. I fight for my family, for my loved ones, the people that's behind me, that were behind me when nobody else was. Because my homeboys wasn't there supporting me when I did those 15 years. Yes, I will take off my mask one of these days. But as of for right now, for family safety, I'm choosing not to. Because I respect my family. And I love them too much to put them in a situation where they have to be dealt with for something they didn't do. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you're having a blessed day. I hope you continue to support me. I hope you give a like. I hope you leave a comment. And we'll continue getting through this journey. I hope we can build this channel together to the next one. Peace.